We take a look at Western Eyre Netball on the Friday night sports show. And of course, Reanna Freeman, our Western Eyre Netball correspondent, joins me on the line now to give us all the latest. How are you, Reanna?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. And you're calling in live from the shearing shed, I understand.
Yes, we are wrapping up our shearing after 2 weeks today, so I take no credit for the shearing, just feeding them and getting a few sheep in every now and then. So be happy when it's done, but we're happy with the rain we got in the last couple of days.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, everyone plays a part. I'm sure not everyone can hold a pair of shearers, and you're certainly doing more than I'd be able to do in the shearing shed, I'm sure. So great stuff. And of course, in between shearing, there's been a few netball games taking place. Your Hawks had the bye, but there are a couple of thrillers on the weekend nevertheless. Let's start with the Wirrulla and Sejuna game. Wirrulla got the win, but only by 13 goals, which, considering Wirrulla are currently sitting top and Sejuna are winless, we thought maybe it would be a bigger margin than that, but we have spoken before that Sejuna are, for a winless team, they are a lot better than their record probably suggests.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't actually aware Hollywoods did quite a substantial ankle injury when they played Thevi a couple of weeks ago. So she was actually playing her 100th game, I think, for Blues that weekend and did her ankle. So they were without Hollywoods, who's normally goal attack, a real key player in their game, and she normally feeds to Casey Grenfell. So not having her in the game, I think, would have been a huge out for Blues also. And then on from that, Casey Grenfell, who I just mentioned, their tall goal shooter, actually went out with an ankle injury during the game. So their two main goalies were out for this game. So absolutely, I would have thought that Wirrulla would have got more of a win on the board. But as I've said, and repeated myself so many times about how Blues are just within reach but not quite getting there. When Casey came off, Katrina Blums came on in goals, and look, she's been in the A grade lots of years prior. She's a fabulous player, moves beautifully, can shoot really well, so I think she would have been a huge asset in their team. Taylor Collins played beautifully, and Hayley Clayton, who normally sits back at goalkeeper, was the best for Blues. For Wirrulla, I believe Jazz Billings, so they're trying a few different things. She normally sort of plays in the mid-court or a bit of goals. I believe she played in goal defence. So that would have been a little bit different. She played, as I'm told, really well in goal defence for someone especially who doesn't normally play there. And Tara Ackland got their incentive at wing defence, and they had Natasha Gill back for Wirrulla from Holiday, so she would have been a huge in. So for Wirrulla, it might have been just a matter of finding their groove with players in a little bit of different positions. And also Blues only lost 2 out of the 4 quarters. So, I mean, I think this just shows what a fabulous competition we've got up here at Western Eyre. 13-goal win to Wirrulla.
Absolutely. It's been a tight competition all year, and, well, our next game shows that as well as anything. It was the Western United Tigers. You called it. They knocked off Thevenard by 8 goals, 37-29. So Thevi dropped to third with that loss, and they need to win next week to lock in a top 2 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this was Thevi's first game back with a full side, and I've been told that they sort of took a little while to settle into their game. Westie's building, as I sort of said to you off air, some people might say they're the dark horses of the competition, but that would imply that we didn't see them coming, and I certainly did. I think from the start of the year they've just built, they're functioning really well as a team, all 7 on the court are pulling their weight and doing their job, and that just goes to show in their results this end of the season. Thevi, as I said, first game back with a full side. They started with Cassie and Courtney in goals, and they would have come up against Lara Skinner and Harriet Appleby, who are both playing, and Chloe Ettridge out at wing defence, are a beautiful defensive unit. And the goalies for Westies, Abby and Durrani, come up against who were our association defensive combination with Nikki Sleep and Lindsay Denton. So really good matchups all the way down the court. Westies were up by 2 in the first quarter and 6 at half-time. And then at half-time, that's when we've seen Thevi make some pretty big changes. Courtney went from goal attack back to goal shooter, and then they put Nikki Sleep, who is Association best and fairest defender, into goal attack. And I myself have never seen her play goals, but have been told by many people she's a beautiful player, and that doesn't surprise me. And she shot some beautiful long-range shots, and I think just sort of a bit of a different feel to the game, and Amy Fackles came on into centre. So Westies only got up by 1 in that quarter, in the third quarter, and then only up by 1 in the fourth with an 8-goal lead in the end. So a fabulous game. Chloe Ettridge, I think, every week is just playing outstanding netball for Westies in wing defence. That whole defensive unit is a force to be reckoned with. Sevi, I think, will be definitely disappointed with the loss, but I think they'll be happy knowing that's the first time they've played together in quite a few weeks, and they will hopefully build on that this week leading into finals. But a very fabulous game from all accounts. I think everyone that sort of has watched it that I've spoken to said it was a really good game, and good to see Sevi really mixing it up, and Westie still, taking it right to them. So well done to both teams, all four across the weekend. It was a really good weekend of netball again.
Let's look ahead to round 15, final round of the comp. And before we look into the games, there's an MVP award up for grabs. It could be decided this weekend. The association medal, it's the first time it's been done. So just tell us a little bit about that award and how it's going to work and why it's come into play.
So we just sort of had a chat earlier in the season, I think it was in pre-season association meetings, about just having a look at sort of what other associations do and some things that we can put into practice into our own association. And so we decided to do an A-grade team of the year, so that will be 10 players picked across all 5 A-grade sides. So you've got your starting 7 and your 3 on the bench, and that'll be picked by the coaches of the A grade. And me being one of them myself, have actually found it a very hard task. We've got such a high talent pool of players across Western Eyre, so really excited to sort of see what the coaches will come up with and what this team looks like, and that will be presented at the prelim final at Wirrulla. So we will have our first Western Eyre A-grade team of the year. So pretty exciting stuff.
All right, very exciting, and very keen to see who makes the cut, and it's good to get recognition for those that have had an outstanding season. So I think that's a fantastic initiative. And we'll have a look now at the round 15 games, and there's still heaps to play out. Western United Tigers are on the bye, and they're locked into 4th place. The top 3, Wirrulla, Hawks, Thevi, battling it out to finish in the top 2. Like you said, the Tigers are the sleeping giants, so certainly no one wants to drop to 3rd and play in that elimination final. Let's start with the Hawks taking on the Blues. And like we said, the Blues, they're looking for their first win of the year, but they've been really competitive. And sometimes in the last game of the year with nothing to play for, teams just seem to elevate in order to ruin someone else's season. So I'm sure for your sake, you'll be hoping that won't happen here.
I'm definitely hoping that doesn't happen here, but I most certainly am not going into this game underestimating the quality of players that Blues have got. I believe Cassie's out with her ankle, and obviously Holly's out for the season with her ankle a few weekends ago. So a bit of a different lineup, but they did have quite a large playing group at the start of the year, and they've done high rotations all year, and I think that's probably paid off because with a couple of girls out, they've still got players, waiting in the wings to jump into their positions. I'm not sure whether that'll see Taylor Collins go into goals, and then Katrina Blums will come into goals as well, maybe just for this weekend. But I guess time will tell. They've got beautiful options in defence. Hayley Clayton, Talene Ettridge, Georgia Lambeth, they've got a great set of players. Hawks have it coming off a weekend off, pretty keen to hit the court. Still without Nissa Bell. She's still recovering from a knee injury, hoping to have her going to finals, but time will tell. A bit of sickness getting around at the moment, so a nice strand of the flu getting around, taking out not just a few of the Hawks girls, but girls across the EP, I think. So I think it'll be hard work for Hawks. Obviously, I'm hoping they come away with the win, but I most certainly am not underestimating the team that is the Blues.
All right, and in our other game, this one is going to be a thriller. Thevi are hosting Wirrulla. Wirrulla top of the ladder at the moment at 8-3, so if they win, they stay top. Hawks 7-3-1, Thevi 7-4. So if Thevi win, they will jump into the top 2. Assuming the Hawks beat Sejuna, that would knock Wirrulla back to 3rd to play the Western United Tigers in the first week of finals. And Well, it's a tricky one for Thevi. On one hand, they've just lost to the Tigers, so they might not want to play them again. But on the other hand, like you said, they're back to full strength. They may feel a lot better about playing them, having had a look at them at their best last week. But either way, Thevi and Wirrulla, this is a huge game with massive finals ramifications. So how do you see this one playing out at Thevenard?
Yeah, this is going to be a hard one to call. I know that Wirrulla haven't got Hayley Webb. She's over in, I think, maybe Fiji. So she's off holidaying. So that's a big out for them defensively. So I'm not sure whether that'll see Jazz Billing go back into defence for this weekend with Bella Heron, or whether they'll bring Sarah Evans up from B grade. I'm just not sure sort of how many games Sarah's played up and how this will play out, but I think that'll have a huge impact in the game. Also, Thevi have just shown that Nikki Sleep can slide into goals, without playing there all year, shoot long bombs and just, really turn the game on its head. So, both teams have got a few cards up their sleeve. So I think, big players, Emma Willis having an outstanding year. She made the top 10 in Adelaide Association. She made the top 10 at Lock. She's playing a fantastic season, so I think it just sort of depends on who they put on her and how they can shut her down, who's going to work harder through the mid-court. Marnie Trowbridge has been playing some really good games in wing defence and also swings through the centre, and Amy Fackless is quick through the centre. Should be a really good matchup with Chelsea Webster from Wirrulla. So, really good matchups all the way down the court. Wirrulla have won both times I've met. Wirrulla by 5 the first time and by 7 the second time. But this one is going to be, it will be a hard game to call. I want to sit on the fence, but that's boring. So, I'm going to go Thevi. Thevi for the upset. I think Wirrulla will go in hot favourites, but I think Thevi have got a point to prove. And if Thevi win and Hawks win, that puts Wirrulla at third. But if Wirrulla win and Thevi don't and Hawks do, that puts Thevi at third. So, as you said, a huge weekend of netball.
Great stuff. We don't like fence sitting here on this show, so I'm glad you picked a winner there. Going to be a massive game and a massive round, and I am very excited to see how it plays out. Good luck this weekend, Reanna, and I'll talk to you next week.
No worries. Thanks very much for having me.